This is a great exercise to help you to start practicing living in the moment, because a lot of us, it's challenging. I also like this exercise because it involves breathing. A lot of us, especially our kids, I would say 95% of the kids I have worked with have such a shallow breath. And the reason why is when you're stressed and you're in fight or flight and the cortisol goes, you know what, you start breathing from your chest in a very shallow place because a lot of other things are going on internally. And sometimes when that stress goes up, we actually learn automatically to just take shallow breaths. And that actually, those shallow breaths actually sometimes ramps us up. And ways to calm our nervous system, calm that fight or flight, is taking long, deep breaths. It really does calm your nervous system. I use this with my kids now. I mean, it's taken a while to practice with them, but they do use breathing now when in some moments to really address their stress. But it's so important for us too. I'm going to just demonstrate for you S.T.O.P. So throughout the day, if you can literally just stop. Sometimes this is great to do in transitions because sometimes we go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and we don't actually stop and check in with ourselves. So this is great when you're going from one thing to the next. So stop what you're doing and take a breath. When we take a breath, I want you to take a full breath to where you're breathing in for at least the count of 4 and breathing out for at least the count of 4. Some people do for 6, some 8, it depends. I've worked with some parents where 2 seconds was the max because they had been breathing such a shallow breath for so long. It was really challenging to work up for that. So take a deep breath, at least 3 long breaths. And then after you take these 3 long breaths, focus on your heart while you're breathing if you can, because it's just good to kind of focus and hone in on that, just loving ourselves if we can. And observe how we're feeling. You know, when I do this sometimes, and I take a breath and I notice, oh my God, my shoulders are hiked. I'll put my shoulders down. Or I notice I'm hunched over because I'm just in that forward movement. And so I'll adjust my posture. And so, you know, and observing too, it's not only observing your body, but observe around you. Right now, as you know, we're talking, it's spring, things are blooming. Every year I say, oh, I didn't spend enough time in nature. I missed watching the spring come about. And this year, I have no other choice but to slow down and watch nature. And I'm actually kind of excited about that. But observing the sights and sounds around you puts you in the present moment mentally, right? Because your focused attention is on things around you, not mentally a story that you puts you somewhere else in the past or the future. And then P is for perceive. One of the ladies I worked with, she was in her mid-50s, and she said, it's been 50 years and I finally learned it's okay to stop. And, you know, it is. So I feel like, especially as moms, we're tackling so many things on so many different levels that we don't just stop and breathe. This is one of the tools that I feel really can support us to help us get back some of that energy through the day so we can proceed in a better state for our kids.